Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for Journaling on a Budget Starting Over. So today we're going to just do some more bookwork. That's pretty much what we have left. And I have kind of gone through, there were some things I had found that I wanted to put in the book. So I'm going to get those in there and we're going to make some tags. And I want to show you what I did with the some of the funfetti paper that we made in the budget crafting series. So I just went ahead and I used water glue. Water glue is 2 parts glue to 1 part water. You use it like Mod Podge. And I just went ahead and I put that on a piece of cardstock because I wanted to use it for some journaling cards in our journal. So let's just get started and kind of see where we are in the journal. We're getting a long ways into the first signature, and then we still have a lot to go in the second signature. But one thing that was suggested was that I put a brad on this little circle here on my stamped paper. Well, because that's on the front cover, I can't necessarily put a brad, but it's a great idea. So what I did was I just have these little, this was a double-sided sticky circle that I got from the recycle store. And so I just put a little bit of different colors of eyeshadow on there that matched my page. And then I put a little bit of clear fingernail polish on top just to seal it. And so what I'm going to do is, because it's double-sided sticky, the eyeshadow stuck to the top side. Whoops. I'm going to be all fingers today. I know that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the back side off and I'm going to stick it on there so it kind of looks a little bit, maybe it doesn't really look like a brad, but it looks like a nice pretty little round embellishment. And that circle really is kind of just white and right in your face, so this will really draw it all together. So thank you very much for the suggestion. That was a great idea. And so let's just, excuse me, look at it like that. And then let's put that on there. And then look at it like that. It is much prettier. It's kind of popped up a little bit. And I really like that. So again, thank you for that suggestion. We have this page all finished. And this page is finished. You've got an area you could write here if you want to, and an area to write there. This one is finished. We put a little stenciling on the top and the bottom. This one is all done. We do still need to make something to put inside the envelope. This one also is complete. And then this one. This is the one I wanted to put a fabric flip on. And so I had done some excuse me, some Sew Stitch kits, and so I grabbed out my blue fabrics that I had for that kit, and I thought that I was going to really like this one, but to me it's just way too dark to go with that page. So then we had this one, and the yellow just didn't go. And the last one that I found that was at the bottom of the pile was this one, and to me it's perfect. I think that just matches so well. Now, we do have our stamp from the other side, is beautiful, but it did come through. Actually, I think I usually put those in like that. It did come through to this side, and normally that does not bother me, and it doesn't need to bother me either. It's very light. You can write on top of it, but you can see it there a little bit. And I thought, you know, just to kind of, instead of just having a fabric flip and having nothing there, I thought maybe we would just put a piece of white paper on there. And so this is just white copy paper, excuse me. And so it is the same size as our book, and then we need to make it smaller. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip off the top and the bottom. Because it's the same size as the page that's here, I do want to see this pink around there. So I'm going to rip some off the top and the bottom, and then I'll rip it off the side so that we've got a border of that pink. And this is just a tear ruler that I don't remember if we made it in this series or the Build Your Stash series, but I want to do the top and the bottom first. But it's just basically you just break the edges of a plastic ruler and you've got your own tear ruler. One thing I like about making my own tear rulers is these little parts that we break out, they're not even. And I really like that. You know, sometimes when you buy them, it's just a repeat all the way down the whole ruler. And to me, that doesn't look as torn as when you have them and they're just really kind of uneven. So I want to make sure that I think that's a good, and I do. We've got probably about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch at the top and the bottom. So I need to tear off this side, and then we'll see how much we need. Let me see, where did I put that? Oh, I tore off the little tear that I put in there. Okay, so we'll just tear off one side and then decide how wide it needs to be. Whoops. One thing with your tear rulers is you've got to hold them down where you're trying to tear. So I need to press here as I'm pulling this paper up because I'm doing such a thin piece. And that doesn't matter if it's your own tear ruler or if it's a purchased one. You have to hold it by where you're tearing it to hold that paper down. So there we go. And I don't like that little bit on the end, so I'm just going to rip that off. Now let's see. So got about 1/4 to 1/2 on the top and the bottom, so I want to do about the same on each side. So I am just going to say right about here is where I want to tear it. And then I think we'll just ink it in pink, in a very light pink. Hopefully that's about the same size. There we go. Yep, I think that looks really good. And I think I like it that way better. It's kind of silly, but you know, always just try. You never know. It may look good one way, but try it the other way just to make sure. I'm just going to look at what color, pink or red. There's a whatchamacall. That's a very light pink. Okay, so I've got spun sugar, Victorian velvet, and tattered rose. I think the tattered rose is probably going to be the color I want. Yeah, I think that's a nice color. Not too dark, but not too light. And because it's just flat and it's going on a flat page, I think I'm just going to stick glue it. Now, I really haven't had a lot of problems with stick glue, but sometimes if you're using a stick glue that is like a water, like if it says washable, those ones sometimes don't stick real well. But if you can find a stick glue that says it's a permanent stick glue, those ones seem to work really well. I haven't really had a problem with things lifting off. So not that they can't, because they probably could. But then again, even with regular glue, you could have a little bit of a problem. So I'm just kind of going in and making a little bit. I got quite a bit right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'm just kind of making a few extra spots that are a little bit further in like that, just so it kind of ties the whole thing together. Okay, I think that looks good. And then that's just going to give us space to write underneath. It'll make the page just a little bit thicker. And first thing I want to do is get out my pressing board. Put that underneath there so it's ready to go. And that's the other thing, I think sometimes when you have a problem with your glue letting loose, it's because you got the glue on there, but by the time that you put it where you were putting it, it started to get dry. Or you didn't get it all over the whole thing, so wherever you didn't get it, it lifted up a bit. But a lot of times I think it is more, you put it on there and then it dried a bit. So I normally try and kind of go across my edges once I'm at the very end, whoops, get that out of the way. Oh no, stuck it down to the table. And this is the way it goes. Thinking right about there. There we go. And then just press it down good. Smooth it out. This is just something from the recycle store also, but you can just use a credit card to do this. You can use your hand. I like to really burnish things down. Sometimes that's another thing, I think, you know, if your glulette's loose, it's because you didn't give it a good press when you stuck it in there. So there, I think that that looks really nice. I just like that little extra so that when you lift up the fabric flip, there will be something under there. You know what? It's a little bit crooked. It is what it is. You can't change it now, so just go with it. It's not a problem. Now we just need to take our fabric. And I want it to pretty much cover the whole page, maybe just a little bit smaller, but okay, so I'm going to put this to the edge of the page because remember you've got your fold in your book, so you really do want to come over a little bit from the edge. And so then I'm going to put a cut right here. And then give it a tear so it tears straight. Well, maybe I'm not going to give it a tear right there. Sometimes you just have to make your cut a little bit longer. Okay, now it's not tearing straight. And do you know why it's not tearing straight? Because it was not cut straight. So it technically is tearing straight, but it was not cut on the, I don't know what you would call that. It wasn't cut on the actual straightness of the threads in the fabric. I don't know exactly how to say that, but anyways, so that's a problem. So what we're going to do then is we're going to just come over here again. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Well, I'll just do it this way. I'm just going to measure my page, and my page is 5 inches, so I'm going to come in 1/4 of an inch from each side. I'm going to make it 4.5 inches wide, and it's 8.5 inches long, so I'll make it about 8 1/4. So 4.5 inches wide. And let me find a pen here. So that is the nice thing about when you do tear your fabric, you know that it's straight, but if you cut your fabric, you don't 100% know that you've cut it on maybe the weave is what you would call it. So 4.5 inches. Whenever you measure something, you should always do 3 marks so that when you go to make your full line, you know that you're straight. Because if you get off a little bit, 3 lines will show you that one of them is not in the right spot. 2 lines, you could just go on an angle. If you put a mark at 4.5 and a mark at 4, it would look like that, but you might not notice it. So I'm going to go right on those lines. And because it's blue fabric and I'm using a blue pen, I'm not, you know, to me that's going to be just fine. I wouldn't want to use like a black permanent marker or something. And then I'll just cut barely inside that line. There we go. Now, do we have 8 1/4 inches there? Oh, we have just 8 1/4 inches there. So put a mark here. 8 1/4. Now this because this is the straight top of the fabric up here. 8 1/4. I should be able to rip this way side to side, and it should work. But being that I cut the sides, I want to cut the bottom too, so that they all kind of match. Marks are there, there, and there. Alrighty, let's see what that looks like on our page. It's a little bit crooked. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to trim this bottom off just a little bit. I see my mark here. I didn't, and then this one, the mark is right at the bottom, so I actually didn't cut it straight. I didn't draw my line straight. Let's get that out of there. Okay, that looks good. And then I thought maybe we'd put a border across the top. We're going to glue it down, but that will also help hold it down, make it a little more firm. And I'm just going to use tacky glue. To glue that down. I'm just going to put it right on the page. Because I'm going to put a border across the top, excuse me, what am I going to say? Because I'm going to put a border across the top, I'm not going to bother spreading it out. I want that glue to soak through the fabric because the border will cover that up if it soaks through the fabric. If you're not going to cover your fabric up and you're putting glue under it, if you spread it out, then you don't get these big dark marks of your glue wherever you had a heavy dot of glue. Whoa. Okay, couldn't get it to come out. But now I did. Let me see. I need something. Where's a... Kind of took it all off, so I'm going to put a little bit back on. Wow, that was something. Alrighty. I do need to, I'm going to spread it out a little bit just to make sure that I've got it everywhere. Get that. That's why it came out so fast. A big blob of glue came out. Alrighty, now I have to decide. I've got the straight cut end, or you know, like the factory end or whatever you want to call it. So I think that I will glue. Actually, that's the factory end. I'm going to glue the part that I cut. Then it won't fray. Although fray sometimes looks really pretty. Just put that right up there, and then let's see, where's... Okay, so I've just got this box that I throw all my bits and pieces in, and I know my borders, oh, there they are right there. My borders were in there, so we're just going to kind of, and I'm pretty sure I want a blue border. Yeah, that's orange. There's no, that's more peach. Now, I don't like the lightness on the top of that one. That's got some pink in it, but no. Oh, I think I like that one if I center it, kind of. I like that. It looks nice because we did them all at the same time. They've got the same color markers in them. I do like that one. So that one is definitely a possibility. I like that one, but I don't like how it goes like that because I want it to go straight across the top. too pink. And that's the last one of those, but we do have a piece here that we cut off a book page. That one. Oh, now this is when I wish you guys could actually talk to me. I think this one goes more with this one, so I'm going to put that one on there. And I'm just going to kind of measure to be a little bit centered. I'm going to cut this one off right here. And because this is going to be moving with the fabric and everything, I'm also going to use tacky glue on this, not stick glue. Besides, my stick glue kind of ran out. And I'm going to spread this one out because I want to make sure that I have it all over the whole thing. And I'm going to line it up on this side. Oh, come on. I thought it would slide easier than that. There we go. Now, I need to get a wet paper towel to get that glue off my hands. Okay. And I'm just going to cut this piece off over here. What's on the other side? I'm going to take this page right out for a second, if I can get it out. No, it doesn't go folding it over. It might actually have went if it went across the whole page, but not just a little tiny bit of it. So there. Now that page that I was really not sure what we were going to do with, I think looks great. And we've got a writing space underneath. Sticks out a little bit on the edge. That's totally okay. Gives it a little interest. That's what you say when you make a mistake. But the truth is, it really does. It almost makes it like, ooh, there's something under there. What's under there? You know? So it's noticeable. Now the question is, do I want to put something on the front? But I really don't think I do. I could glue something on the front, but you know, kind of to me, the object of a fabric flip is to just have that nice softness to it. And if I glue something to it, it will make it hard in that spot. So I think that I like that just how it is. So we'll put that back in there. What you need to do when you're taking them out and putting them in is kind of lift it at that spot so you can see what you've got going on both sides. There we go. Okay, so yes, I think that looks nice. It's almost a very busy page. Okay, and these are done. Those are done. That's done. This one needs a couple little tags in there, and so does the other side. This one, I think that it needs, not at the bottom because we've got the tape at the bottom, but I think it needs a little bit of stenciling at the top. And I think, trying to think, I think I'll do it in the same turquoise, which I think is like, what is it? Tumbled glass? I know it's here somewhere, of course. Oh, literally the last one I looked at. Broken china, that's what it is, broken china. So we just need something across the top. And let's grab the stencils. See what we've got here. We've got the leaves, the flowers on this side. These leaves are really quite pretty. I like how they do that. Let's try those. So we definitely need to put our pressing board, which is right here. I didn't lose it. Put our pressing board underneath. Now you can also just take it out. I want to make sure I see my fold there, so I want to make sure I keep my stencil inside the fold. A little bit closer to the top, I think. I'm going to do it right there. And that's the thing, when you're going through and finishing off stickers, stencils, stamping, you know, you just go through at the end and just do some things like that, and it just gives you that little extra something that makes your page not look so plain, but also not so busy. And, you know, obviously if it's something where you want to be able to add pictures or add writing, you want to have room for those things. So, and then hold it down really well. Give it a quick look. I don't quite like how dark it is. It needs to be a little darker, so I'm going to put a little bit more color there. And it might come through the other side because this is copy paper, but I think the other side is plain also. So if the other side is plain, we could put the same stencil on the other side. Much better. That looks really nice. And that just gives that page, we got the tape here, we've got that there. We've got our little bookmark here. And so that works really well. Okay, so we do have the same one here. It did not go through, but I do think that I want to put it on this side also. And I think what I want to do is do it just the opposite. So I'm going to wipe my blue off of here, because I don't want that blue coming off on my paper and then the blue flowers and stuff. That will all blend together and you'll just have one big smudge, basically. Let's set it down here. When you wash a stencil, if you set it on a piece of paper, it will give you a little ghost image of that stencil, depending on what you were using and how much of it was still left on there. Okay, so I washed the wrong side. That was kind of smart. There we go. Alrighty, so I want this one. Oh, I didn't wash the wrong side. I want it to go like that. Alright, take our pressing board. Put it in there. Is that how I did that side? Yeah, down on the middle. And what I'm going to do is I can see this leaf here, and I can see this leaf here. And so I'm just going to kind of line it up with there, and then I know it'll be kind of the same on both sides. And if it soaks through onto the other side, it's going to soak through onto the exact same spot because I reversed the stencil. I flipped it over so that I could have the mirror image. And that's the nice thing about stencils, is you can give yourself a mirror image just by flipping them over. And just remember to, if you're going to flip it over, wipe that side off first. There we go. That looks nice. That looks very nice. I like that. And also remember, not every page needs to be completely full of something. So we have made it to the end of the first signature. I'm going to, what do I have here? All right, I'm going to wipe this off on here. I moved it now, so now it's going to just be a mess. There. And you can't really see it, but I was just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of how that works when you wipe off a stencil. Do it on a white piece of paper. It normally looks really cool. Okay, so that takes care of that part. And I'm happy with how that came out. So we're not going to do a real long video today. We're still right in the middle of the holidays. So I like how that looked. That turned out really, really cute. So then we've got our first page. Good. This one is good. This one is good. This one is good. We do have to fill the envelope. These are, oh, I stuck another one of those little ones on the head of the butterfly because I didn't like the head of that butterfly. And so when I was doing it, it was like, and I thought it turned out cute. Alrighty, I like how that turned out. And there we go. That looks good. And that looks good. That looks good. So a couple of tags. This is done. This is done. Done. We're leaving the back just like it is. Okay, so we need 2 tags and something to go in the envelope. So that signature is really close to done. Now this one. I have to decide what I want to do on the front. And so that's another whole day because that's a whole page and I just don't know what I want to do with it. And again, that's going to take into account for this pocket. So for now, I'm going to leave that. So we have a lot to do in this second signature. It seems like I thought we were getting pretty close to being done, which really we are. It's now just a matter of like, these need stencils. This one needs something. You know, I do like dark colors and stuff, but the grunge, it's not my favorite. You know, I mean, it's nice to have it there. It's an example and everything, but it really isn't my favorite. So, and that's another envelope we need to fill. So I will probably put something on here, not cover it up completely, but yeah, it's just not my favorite. I love this center spread. There's nothing there, but you know, you've got just a little bit of the magnetic bookmark from here and the paper clip from here, and for some reason I just absolutely love it. I think I'm going to put on the top of the paper clip, I'm going to put some fibers so they stick out the top, because I love having some things stick out the top and the bottom. I just think that that's really cool. Okay, this is a fold down, so this might need a little stencil at the bottom. And this one I like just how it is, because this is the most gorgeous piece of paper. It's got a beautiful sassafras sleeve on it. Now, this one, because this comes off and you have writing space there. Put that back on. And then I made this little girl, and I just love her, so I want to put her in this book. And so I thought, as I was looking through the book, I thought she would look perfect right on that page. And I think maybe a little bit of stenciling in the corners, or maybe stamping. I saw a corner stamp, I think. Corner stamp that we made. I thought I saw it earlier in here. Maybe it's in here. Oh, that's stenciled. There it is. There's a corner stamp. Let's see what it looks like when we stamp it. Let's stamp it on a different piece of paper. Now I need a piece of paper. And that's yellow. Oh, I like the way that this looks too. That just has a little bit of something on the edge. I like that. I'm going to leave that out. It's going to make some kind of a tag. And I'm going to put some orange. Hopefully I'm not going to ruin it. Down here in the corner. Do I want orange or brown? I think I want orange. Did I just take this out already? I did. This is spiced marmalade. Normally I put my stamps in a little binder, and I stamp on a piece of paper on my handmade ones, and put that in there too, because then you know what it looks like. because, oops, I cut the bottom off. Because for me, I have a hard time looking at a stamp and figuring out what it's going to look like. I like that. And I think that that would look really cute on those corners. So that's what I'm going to do. I could also do it in green, but I really like the orange. So now, okay, we're going to take our pressing board. Oh, right here. See, I set it right here next to me on top of the bucket that we keep our butterflies and everything in. I set it right there so I wouldn't lose it. After the last time, I thought, okay, this time I need to stop losing it. That one's really pretty too. But it needs to be different. So let's do this one. Alrighty. I'll do the outside corners first because I'm not so sure that I want to do... I'll flip this over. Especially if I'm stamping or stenciling, I try and do it on the back or painting or anything so that if I get some on there, it's no big deal. Because the front of my pressing board is kind of more, it's pretty to look at, so it just doesn't look plain and yucky in your book. And yet, then you can just use the back to do your messy stuff. So I want to try and get this in the corner without going off the edge like I did on the other piece. There we go. Don't want it super dark. I got it super dark anyways. Okay. But I like it. Oh, it looks much better with that probably being darker. Line this one up. There. Now let's put her on there. Put it back. Fold. Now the question is, do I put them here and here? Because I'm really thinking not. But looking at it through the camera, now I'm thinking do. Okay. And if it soaks through here, I'll do something with that when we get to that page. I'm going to take that tag out of there so I don't get ink on it. And find where the edge of my paper is and come in just a little bit. Oops, a little bit light right there, and not bad. That is really a bad thing to do. You know, you should try not to restamp because normally it doesn't work out very well. Just looking for the fold in my paper. So I could come in just a little bit so it doesn't get totally lost under the next page. And there. Now let's put her on there. Put the pressing board back where it belongs. I like that. I like that a lot. So this one, I found this at the recycle store. And the first thing I thought of it when I saw it was, to me, it looked like a hairdo with a couple little like buns on top. And I thought that was so cute. So I picked up a few. They only had a few. So I took what they had. And this was my plan all along. Sometimes you see something and something just sticks in your head. If I had seen it this way, I might not have seen it like that. But the one that was sitting there was like this. And it was just like, that's awesome. I'm going to try it. And I've seen these kimono folds on YouTube, and so I went and looked one up. I did it wrong, so it's not supposed to come up like this, but I love the way that it looks, so I kept it. I could have refolded it, but I didn't want to. As a matter of fact, I folded it in paper and folded it this way, which was wrong. And then when I did it in the fabric, I folded it the same way because I really liked how that came up like that. To me, it looks kind of like a little collar. And So anyways, she is going to, I'm going to glue her down at the bottom. I'm going to glue down her head. And then I will leave the middle open, but I'm not planning on putting a tag on her, under her, because I think it will take away. But there will be a space there if somebody does want to tuck something underneath. Put that on there nice and heavy because she's kind of heavy. And so now there's this much space here that you could slide something in there. And I want to make sure I bring this out to the edges so that the edges actually glue down really well. There we go. And I think right about there. She's sliding around. Where is the pressing board? It's right here. Let's press her down. Because that's wet glue. It will take a while for it to dry. And when I'm done here, I will probably stick something on top of here to hold it all down. I'll stick a book on there or something, because we definitely want it to adhere well since it's heavy. But I just thought she's pretty. I like her, so I just wanted to put her in there. And we do have this space here then that you could put something under there if you want to. Okay, and then there was just one more thing that I wanted to do. And this is removable, so if you don't like it, you can take it out. But I really loved this. And I was looking at it when I was going for some things. I'm trying to find my paper towel to get the glue off my finger. And I really wanted to put it in the book. And when I came and looked at the book, when I flipped it open, it flipped completely open. Right to the back page. And so I really thought, I wonder what it would look like there. This is it's a peelable sticker from the Dollar Tree. And like you put them on, it says like great for mirrors, laptops, devices, and more, windows, because they're supposed to be able to stick down, but you can take them off. So I held it up here and I thought, you know what? It fits perfectly. It just fits right in there. I need to come over just a little bit. So, and this is one of those things where if whoever gets it doesn't like it, they can take it out. But I love the way this kind of comes around and it swooshes around the moon, kind of comes up underneath the unicorn. And I just thought that that was the perfect thing to put there. Now, it could be glued down permanently, but because I'm not sure, you know, if you'd want it there or not, I'm going to do that with it because you can. You can do that. You can move it around. You could put it somewhere else if you wanted to. But, so, and that one says, and now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. And I love that. So that's what we're going to do today. So we've done this, which I just absolutely love. And then we have our beautiful little lady here. And I definitely need to put something on her face to hold it down because this, I just glued her on copy paper. Or I drew her face on copy paper. So I don't want that to be too wrinkly. But I'll put something on there to hold it down while it dries and it should be just fine. And I did do her face with permanent marker so that I wouldn't smear it all over the place. There we go. So we did that one. And let's see, what else did we do? We did our fabric flip. And we did our stenciling. So I think that today's projects turned out really nice. I like the way that they look. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you all, well, by the time that you see this, well, let's see, no, that's going to be for this week because I'm running a little behind. So, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I hope that you all have a wonderfully happy New Year. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.